Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Laura and I like to craft stuff. And today I really wanted to pull from this book. I've been using my 1000 quilt blocks, but I kind of want to go back and forth because obviously this one has 4000 patterns. So why not just go and try every single one of them? So the pattern I want to do today, the pattern I want to try is this one right here. This is as zoomed in as I can get. It's called Squares Within Squares. It looks like we could actually do it as a 4-patch just with the different colors. But I have 3 fabrics that I wanted to use and I really just kind of liked this design. So I have pulled out these 2 from my stash. So I'm being good and I'm using fabrics that I got from my actual stash. I'm excited about using these finally. I think they're really cute. And then I had gotten dress fabric, so I had to pull out some dresses that I didn't really feel like suited me. This one in particular was too short, and so I'm going to cut this up, and because it's cotton, which is a plus in making your own dresses. If you make it out of quilting fabric and you decide you don't like your dress, you can cut it up and put it in a quilt. So yeah, these are the 3 fabrics that I'm going to do. I'm not entirely sure. I kind of feel like maybe I want the dark green to be the center and match that pattern. We're doing squares within squares, so maybe. Book I'm using is the Encyclopedia of Pieced Patterns by Barbara Brackman. It's compiled. I think it's out of print. When I tried to Google it, Mardi is letting me borrow this. Thank you, Mardi. The last time I checked, it was like 60 bucks online for a used copy on eBay, maybe. So, or I can just go through it for you and then we have it online. Maybe. All right, let's get to work. In case you're new here, I try to post every other Tuesdays. So if you want to subscribe and join me in future videos or past videos, that's where you can find me. I started out with 4.5-inch strips, and then I'm cutting them into 4.5-inch squares. Yes, I know that one's not super straight, but or unironed, but usually when that happens, I like try to squish it out. I do believe that I did try to iron that, but I think I would have needed to like fully washed and gotten it wet, and I was not about that life. So I didn't do it. I'm sorry. But 4.5-inch squares, it was just squares all the way around. Squares within squares. And yeah, this was a really simple quilt. And there are a few different ways that I think that you could lay it out. I'm only going to show one way. It's the typical way. It's the way that or at least the way that it appeared in the book and the way that I thought it looked best. But I would suggest, if you like playing with layouts, this is a good one. This is a good one for that. Here I am laying out the 4-patch, and what I was saying was that basically this is the layout for all of the patches you need to have one corner be the different fabric and then the remaining 3 be the other fabric. And so I wound up chain piecing all of the blocks once I really got into it. Once I stopped filming and like showing the progress, but it was really simple. Not a lot of no thoughts. Just so. I'm showing here that it's the same for the pink fabric as well. So the green square and the pink square We're pretty much laid out exactly the same, and then you just rotate when you lay out the final pattern. Super simple. And honestly, I could see this being really fun with smaller squares. I did go a little bit larger with the 4.5-inch squares, but I think 4.5-inch personally is a pretty good size. It's a pretty good size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew down one side of those, and then I will open up the seam and flip it over and sew the other way. And here I am showing chain piecing. So what I did was every other set of squares had one of the green fabrics in there. And then the other thing about chain piecing is making sure that the green is always sewn on the same side. It's going to make your life so much easier if the green sewn up is exactly the same. So there it is, sewing one side, and then you open them up and then put them together and sew the other way. And this is how you can nestle those seams. You know the drill. If you've been quilting for a while, which chances are, if you're watching this, maybe you're a beginner. I don't know. But chances are you probably know. You know. So yeah, you really just need those 2 blocks, and then you put the greens, or at least my layout was putting the greens in the center. So as I like to do, I just do 4 patches on and on and on until I run out of patches, until I run out of blocks. But I did decide to have the green on the inside. There was another way of flipping it where it could have been a square within a square. I don't recall the layout currently. I should have taken a photo, honestly, but I didn't. I apologize. So that's, if you wanted to do this, there are a few different ways that you could lay this out that would get you an interesting pattern. And I bet you I'll stumble across them in the book someday. I liked having, or maybe it was in this part, you could have it, you could lay it out in any way, I guess. You could do whatever you wanted. Who am I to say? This is just how I did it. I liked having the pinks be diagonal, and so I decided to lay it out in that way. I personally really liked this quilt. It was super fast and easy to make. I like the optical illusion from far away. It kind of gives. It's fun. It would make a nice full-sized quilt with a border, but I wound up with 4x4 in the end of those final blocks. Yeah, this was a really fun project, and I'm glad that I got to use fabrics from my stash rather than going out and getting new fabrics. I have a few more stash projects coming up. I'm so excited for the upcoming year, so if you want to join me on any future projects, subscribe. Yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye!